The tree was down and there was nothing was coming home.
Who's speaking?
Wallace.
Okay, we will call the June 17th, 2024 meeting of the Town of Somerville Planning Commission to order. First order of business is the approval of minutes from the meeting on May 20th. Are there any additions or corrections to be made to those? Hearing none, we'll accept them as distributed. Next is a public hearing. A petition by Michael C. Fox, Stefan Colucci, William Colucci, Alice Norton, Kim Colucci, Lizzie, and Robert Colucci to annex TMS number 15200000026, located at 400 Murray Boulevard, totaling approximately 12.81 acres, currently zoned TRM, Transitional Residential District in Dorchester County, and asked to be zoned NR Neighborhood Residential upon annexation into the Town of Somerville's municipal limits in Council District 5. I'll ask Jesse to.
I'm just gonna briefly read the, that's the wrong.
That's the minutes from last.
Yes, there we go. Let me get to the staff report. There we go. All right, the property owners are requesting for the above referenced parcel to be annexed into the town with the zoning of NR Neighborhood Residential. Properties included in the town's single-family residential area as identified within the Somerville Our Town, Our Future comprehensive plan, as well as on the accompanying future land use map, which includes detached single-family uses with a typical density of 2 to 5 units per acre. However, this property does fall in the town edges area and the growth strategy included in the land and development element of the comp plan. The town edges growth area prioritizes developments in areas within existing infrastructure service boundaries to sustainably manage their capacity while utilizing available space. Prioritization of growth in this area is intended to incorporate existing pockets of development in unincorporated areas, i.e. donut holes, and prevent future developments like these. Prioritization be given to areas that include commercial development over solely residential areas. The applicant is proposing to construct single-family detached homes with a minimum lot size of 5,000 square feet. However, the NR zoning district does also allow for 2 to 4 unit dwellings and mobile homes. The town does not have the ability to limit permitted uses within a zoning district if all the zoning requirements can be met. In addition, the NR zoning district does not have a minimum lot size requirement, while the adjacent property within the town is the Limehouse Village PUD with a minimum single-family detached lot size of 4,000 square feet. Almost all the other properties on Murray Boulevard in Dorchester County are zoned TRM with a minimum lot size of 1 acre. The requested NR Neighborhood Residential Zoning District is not out of compliance with the single-family residential use specified in the town's comprehensive plan. However, the character of the development does not appear to be in line with the surrounding development on that street within the county. In addition, the town cannot require contract zoning, so there is no mechanism in place to require that only detached single-family homes with a minimum lot size of 5,000 square feet are built if the property is successfully annexed and zoned to NR, unless the property owner chooses to place deed restrictions on the property themselves. The Planning Commission and ultimately Town Council must decide if the overall character of the area will be negatively impacted by the proposed zoning. And there's the area in question is the hashed area. And I'll now turn it over to the applicant if they wanted to kind of speak on that, and then I will call out those who have signed up for public comment.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Mathewson, with Vice President of Development with Center Park Group, also known as Center Park Homes. And we're the contract purchaser and applicant for this annexation and rezoning request. Our engineer, his name is Brian Kaiser with Stantec. He's out of town on vacation today, so it's just me on behalf of the applicant. But I would note Ms. Teresa Halverson, who is a real estate agent who represents the property owners, is in attendance today as well. I don't have much to add besides the staff report. I did bring some hand-drawn sketches of what a proposed development would look like, that I can pass out. I think I have enough copies for everybody.
Thank you.
So what we would propose here, as Ms. Schuler mentioned, would be a rezoning to neighborhood residential. But we would offer to put a condition, and I think a deed restriction would be a good way to do it. A condition that there must be a minimum lot size of at least 5,000 square feet. And the only permitted use would be single-family detached residential. We have no interest in doing multifamily or townhomes or any of the other high-density options under the neighborhood residential zoning. I would point out, we looked at Limehouse Village, which is nearby as a comparable parcel. We're under the PUD. Those homes are 4,000 square foot lot size, so we're in line, a little bit less dense than what we have nearby at Limehouse Village. Happy to answer any questions that y'all may have.
Anybody have any questions?
On this plan, it's 58 houses?
This sketch is for 58 single-family lots. You know, I would note it's a hand-drawn sketch, so once the engineers get into it with CAD, that number could move, but I think that's a fair estimate.
What size are the lots in Somerville Farms? Square footage, they may know.
Those are probably an acre.
Yeah.
They kind of, I don't know, but just by looking at the,
I have to recuse myself from the vote from this. My overall firm represents Center Park on some stuff, and I'm gonna feel right on both.
Okay. We'll take care of that when we start the business meeting. Anything else, folks? Thank you.
thank you.
All right.
This is Limehouse, isn't it?
Okay.
First person under the public hearing is Robert Ford at 108 Murray Boulevard.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I live 108, so my property line touches the proposed building site. And I have 2.01 acres. Our covenant that we signed when we moved in said every house will have a 1 acre minimum lot size. So I didn't get to see the proposed drawing of how many houses they're gonna put on Murray. But would this be a whole new subdivision? Would it be part of Limehouse? I mean, the reason I bought there was to have the acreage and the privacy that we have. They've already snuck a storage unit building in the back of our neighborhood. So we get to deal with that traffic and the dumping at the end of the street at the first of every month when people's bills are due. So not really interested in having that much more traffic through my neighborhood. If they want to build and put 1 acre lots, what touches Murray and get access to the neighborhood from another road on the back, they can put as many houses in there as they want. That's my opinion on it.
Thank you.
Right, next person is Eric Griffin at 10790 Dorchester Road.
Good afternoon. Just to kind of piggyback on what he had said earlier, we are on the corner here and something of this magnitude, if you're going to put a neighborhood like Limehouse, put it in right where it is now, it completely changes the landscaping of what our neighborhood looks like. We're in just over half an acre and everyone else is, I think, past our house is over an acre. When you start putting 8 homes per acre, again, it completely changes the landscape of the neighborhood. like you said, traffic, we have our kids, we ride bikes back there, we take our dogs on walks, all that. And again, even with the storage unit, it's changed it quite a bit too, because we do get, a good bit more traffic. That's with just a storage unit. Imagine what our neighborhood becomes when you get Limehouse traffic in and out every single day. And again, it completely destroys the look and the feel of the neighborhood that we bought for, because we wanted the privacy of that. I think everyone in our neighborhood feels the exact same way. So that's, again, just my opinion, but I don't have to look at the map, the hand-drawn 58 homes, and that's something that most likely would change. Again, you have that many acres back there, and you can put a lot of homes on 1 acre. You start putting row homes, stuff like that, that is indicative of Limehouse. You can put a lot of homes on there. Again, just to reiterate, it just destroys the entire feel of our neighborhood. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. Next, Teresa, did you want to speak, or Teresa Halverson?
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on behalf of the sellers of the property. They are heirs to the late Ivo and Doris Colucci. I would just like to say on their behalf that they do want to sell this property, and Center Park Homes, I have been witness to their building process as well as showing their properties as a realtor in the area, and they build a beautiful home. Their neighborhoods are very well planned and put together, and they're very aesthetically pleasing. There's evidence of that right here in the town of Somerville already, in and around the downtown area. So I'm sure you're probably familiar with their name. All I would like to say otherwise is just that this property it's very close to Dorchester Road, as you can see, and there are many businesses bringing in many employees from various parts of the country who need affordable housing. And affordable housing is becoming much more challenging in the greater Charleston area. And I believe that Center Park Homes is one of many builders in the areas in our greater Charleston area that can do a very good job of providing the highest and best use of properties such as this one. So I would just ask that on behalf of the sellers that you would seriously consider their petition. Thank you.
And then Mark Turner at 409 Murray Boulevard.
Thank you for allowing me to talk on this. I am the neighbor directly across the street from this. I've known Ivo and Doris Colucci before they've been promoted for many years. This is so against what they would desire for their property. I realize that, quote, the heirs, however, the family is extremely divided. And I think you need to check on the rest of the family before you figure out what the density needs to be. The idea of trying to put 58 homes in 12 acres, and those 12 acres is ludicrous. We already have way too much traffic, way too much difficulty. And as several of my neighbors have already stated on Farmdale, it is a quiet neighborhood. We all have typically over 1 acre lots. And now suddenly you're putting more Limehouse. We have to live with the traffic from Limehouse already, which is fairly close to us. And now you're coming back through the back door, through a pretty much a crooked method of accomplishing that, in coming across the river there. The other difficulty is if you have not already, it is your responsibility to make sure you do a tree survey. There are numerous super grand oaks all over the Colucci property. I have walked that property. I have photographs of that property, and I will be working with the media once that property attempts to develop, because those oaks are irreplaceable, and there's no way to put housing at that density in there. Initially, I was under the understanding that Center Park Homes, they have done a development out in Ridgeville. They do 1/2 to 3/4 acre lots. We wouldn't be standing here fighting this. You want to put that in the 12 acres? Awesome. Put in 18 homes, 20 homes. Nobody's going to complain. But when you start putting in 58 homes, you have created more of the same problem that this whole area and everybody else is having a problem with. And we don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the roads. You don't even have the sewage system to get there because there's no way to get there because you're going to have to come across wetlands to bring that sewage. So I have to speak against this. It is simply not fitting. It is wrong. You're going against the original landowner's wishes. He developed all of these houses and all of these lots for his children. And then over the years, his children have sold them out. And many of us have bought those properties. And we have a wonderful, quiet neighborhood. And exactly as someone said earlier, already they put in the storage units and created a mess of a traffic problem on our quiet little road, and our road's already falling apart. So please, you need to do what is right here and stop worrying about the tax revenue and Somerville annexing. You've already done an odd annexing to do across the street. You cannot do this by your own rules. And I refer to the annexation process on your website. It says the zoning, when zoned into town of Somerville, will typically correspond to the zoning that is currently in place. We are TRM, which is 1 house per acre. How dare you think about going to that level of density against your own rules? Thank you.
Eric Matsko at 103 Murray Boulevard.
First, I apologize for not being dressed properly for this. I didn't intend to speak. There's one other item that no one has mentioned. The road, Murray Boulevard, is barely a 2-lane road. There's no marks, no lines, culverts on either side. It's not intended to be this kind of road. And again, we all have septic systems and things like that. And, you know, what does all that stuff do to our septic systems and our drainage and things like that? So just something to consider. I don't want to, it's a fine line between development and not development. You know, maybe we can figure out a way to get access out the Orangeburg Road or something like that, and leave our lots the way they are. Just something I wanted to add. Thank you.
That is all I have for people who've signed up for the public hearing.
Okay.
Last question. Yeah. Let me ask you, on the right of way or easement, each lot will have adequate right of way or easement when it comes to the area. What was the question, sir? Is the property entrance and access and egress have adequate right of way or easement coming into that area? And also, if I'm not mistaken, in subdivision being developed, you're supposed to have 50 feet of 50 feet per width of the road. Is that true in this development?
So we haven't even looked at those types of things yet. This is just for the zoning. Whether they will be annexed into the town and what zoning they will have when they are annexed.
This is a TRM zone, meaning it is transitional rural. It was intended to remain rural by the code that has been in place for 25, 30 years. And the county put that in. And so the roads are not designed, as my neighbor says, not even lined. It's barely wide enough for 2 cars. It's intended to remain rural.
Right. Okay, thank you. At Seeing no one else here, I'm going to close the public hearing and move on to our business meeting.
To that. Hold on just a second.
New business. Have any street names, Jesse? None? Oh, shucks. Those are always fun. Then the next order of new business is the petition by Michael C. Fox, Stephen Colucci, William Colucci, Alice Norton, Kim Colucci, Lizzie, and Robert Colucci to annex TMS number 152-0000026, located at 400 Murray Boulevard, totaling approximately 12.81 acres, currently zoned TRM Transitional Residential District in Dorchester County, and will be zoned NR Neighborhood Residential upon annexation into the town of Somerville's municipal limits, Council District 5. Mr. Bailey?
Yeah, I need to recuse myself,
Yes.
on this.
Did you get that, Jesse? Okay. All right. Now, do I have a motion?
Motion to approve.
Is there a second? Hearing no second, the motion fails for want of a second. Is there any other motion?
I move to deny the request for annexing under this particular zone designation.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I could,
You
I
may.
think the density is far beyond what should be. Far beyond. You look at all the other houses, they're all plenty of room. This is 58 and one of the tiny place of 12 acres. You take 2.5 cars for every home. And now you have more traffic than you've probably ever seen in Mount. So I would be voting against it. When I move to approve, I'm just used to, my Robert's rules say you always approve and then you vote against it. That's just the way that was, so. But now the motion is for denial and I will be supporting that.
I do have a comment. I appreciate those of you who showed up to voice your disapproval of this. I found one of you to be quite objectionable, assuming that you knew that what we were going to decide and how we felt. I found it quite rude and very obnoxious. Also, the town really doesn't collect enough taxes on residential to pay for the services it provides.
Anything else? If not, I'll call for the question. All in favor of the motion to deny signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, like sign. The ayes have it, it's unanimous.
Thank you. Just want to briefly explain that it will still go on to council. That's just the way our process works with a recommendation for denial. So the final approval is made at council, which will occur in July. So just be on the lookout for the July council meeting agendas and planning and development committee, standing committee agendas.
All right. Under miscellaneous, anybody that hasn't got their training done, I see the Maryland folks are putting out some. I found those to be generally pretty interesting.
And there's one coming up on the 20th,
Mhm.
which I already signed up for, so
Good,
they're
good.
very good.
All right. If there's nothing further, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Stand adjourned.